Hello there, Grand Harrier here with another replay rundown. Today we have Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc versus Predaplant. Now Predaplant, the former tier 1 juggernaut, has fallen off quite a bit as Heroes and Salamangreat have sort of taken its place. Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc being one of the two ways that you can play the Lyrilusc package to success. Currently considered something of a tier 3 strategy in the game. It is sneaky and deceptive though. And if you're looking for something different to play, it's definitely one you should consider. Why don't we go ahead and hop in here and see just how this one is going to go down. Now at the bottom, we're going to have World's Competitor Carrot versus what translates as Good Loser, if I'm not mistaken. Also a rather prolific tournament player in their own right. So no slouch on their end. Now the Predaplant player is going to go first here. Typically the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck is going to play no hand traps outside of a single copy of DD Crow, which is searchable off of the Recital Starling. So the Predaplant player is going to be able to make their board more or less uninterrupted here. Contributing off the Sirach to get searching, adding Fusion Recycling Plant and a Predaponics. Sending the Hydra that we do not need at the moment to grab a copy of Fusion Substitute. Fusion Substitute, of course, used because of its ability to recycle our Predaplant Fusion monster, as well as giving us that critical card draw, which is, while Predaplant doesn't lack it, in comparison to some of the other tier 1 strategies, it can be a bit lacking. So we are going to grab a copy of DD Crow here, setting a back row and ending the turn with 4 cards in hand. So on field, we do have a singular potential negate. We have the Recital Starling providing no interruption. So not exactly the strongest board, which likely means that the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc player is going to be able to potentially play into this outside of any hand traps. Now we are going to start with the Lyrilusc side of our engine. The Warbler is going to eat that negate. We've got a Bird Call, grabbing a copy of our Sapphire Swallow. Already had the Wagtail in hand. Going to add a copy of Bird Call. Can't use it now, but could come up later or be used as a potential discard fodder to our Bearbrum. Recital Starling is going to eat another negate as we activate Predaplast. And it looks like we drew a heavy portion of our Lyrilusc engine as we're able to use our Sapphire Swallow alongside a copy of Nerval, which as a level 1 winged beast can be summoned alongside it. Ferrigite into a copy of Shurag, which will deal with that Dragostapelia permanently. We're then going to link off for the Bearbrum, grabbing a copy of Fractal off of the Nerval and a Cobalt Sparrow off of the Shurag. As we still had our special summon from Ferrigite available to us, we're going to go ahead and bring Cobalt Sparrow to the field, searching for the DD Crow. Discarding 2 cards to bring back the Wagtail. We're then going to go for an Xyz play of our assembled Nightingale. Now we are going to see it brought out in defense position. We could have had it in attack to get in some more damage, but it does look like we are setting up a more defensive turn, as we are going to see here, activating the skill, drawing a card, and recycling our Shureg as we go into a Rugal, triggering both Ferajit and Bearbrum, grabbing a Revolt, sending a card back, drawing a card, sending a card back. We're going to set one, which is likely our Revolt, take out the Recital Starling, allowing us to search for an Orphis Scorpio off of the Biplisp that goes to the graveyard. We are immediately going to trigger our Assembled Nightingale, meaning that we can take no battle damage for this turn, discarding, or rather removing, the Wagtail, which can just reattach. However, because we cleared our opponent's board, we are going to allow them to put a free Predator counter on one of our monsters. We choose to do so to the Nightingale, getting rid of it. So while we cannot go for lethal here, we can force out all of your interactions, and go and try and leave you on as few resources as possible here. Phoenix is going to force a Revolt. We go into it. We are going to trigger Ferajit, Nerval, and Shureg, electing to get rid of the Recycling Plant. As we were about to end the turn, we use the Rugal effect, re-summoning out a Nerval. The Nerval will then return to the hand, giving us an additional resource, and we will pass the turn. So we're going to normal summon the Fractal here, using the effect to bring out a copy of Double Dragon Lords. This will trigger our Shureg, which will banish the Sirach. We're going to go to battle. Drosera will be protected by the Predaplant. We attack again, which is going to put a token on all of our monsters. And then here's a very important thing that we do here. We attack in to the Nightmare Phoenix. As we have already declared the attack, we will not be able to play any card that activates on attack declaration. We then go for the Double Dragon Lord's Bounce, which is going to remove the Nightmare Phoenix. You don't have to worry about Valor. We're in the battle phase. And because we do not have to redeclare an attack, we are not going to be able to play Sirach to defend ourselves because our life points are already low. That 3000 will be lethal. Playing around the hand trap that we knew our opponent had in hand, Carrot will be able to take game number 1 in a clean victory. Alrighty, game number 2. Carrot will be going first this time. We do start with the ideal. Ooh, no. I was going to say we were likely going to start with the ideal combo of Fractal into Kit, Kit into Nerval, Nerval into Karas, but we elect to use the other thing that you can do, which is dump any Tri-type. We elect to dump our Cobalt Sparrow before going into our Turquoise Warbler. That's going to be able to re-summon the Cobalt Sparrow, getting us a search. We're going to go for a Recital Starling. Very interesting. We are going for the Lyrilusc side of things here in both games. We are once again going to see the Sapphire into Nerval. Goes for the Ferajit. Nerval's going to be able to banish 4 into our Shureg. We go for a Tenki, adding another copy of Fractal to hand. Summoning out that Fractal before making a Bearbrum. We'll trigger the Shurag and Ferajit. And we do add the Wagtail here. Bird Call into the Barrel Canary, which will then allow us to grab, or rather summon the Wagtail off of the Bird Call, as we did not search for it, and we in fact already had it in our hand. Making a copy of Nightingale here. We're then going to go for the double Dragon Lord, recycling here. Links off into the Rugal and passes the turn. Now, it should be noted that we do not have an easy path to, actually wait, nope, never mind. I take back what I say. I think we're actually going to see a really interesting play here. So we detach the Nerval, searching for the Fractal here off of that. But we are protected for the turn. Going to get rid of the double Dragon Lords this time, as opposed to the assembled Nightingale. Triggering our Fusion and Biplisp. Searching for Orphoscopio and Predaplant. Goes for the Revolt. We will summon out both the Ferajit and the Bearbrum. This is notable because many times you will not actually be able to do this play because one or both of these will be made illegally via the Tri-Brigade mechanic. However, in both cases, we actually did hard make them. The Ferajit being made off of the Lyrilusc monsters, and the Bearbrum following suit. So because of that, we are able to get to our Shurag with only 2 zones. A lot of these setups will actually go through a second copy of Rugal, so that you can summon the Rugal as well as any other Tri-Brigade monster, usually a Nerval, to be able to get a search off of it. But we are able to do so. Here, we do trigger the Shurag, getting rid of the Fusion so that we cannot use its effect to dig deeper into our deck. Grabs a copy of Cobra, which will grab us a copy of Fusion Recovery. Using that to grab back the Biplisp and our Polymerization. We'll then go for a Polymerization, which is going to be our Chimera Rafflesia. Dragostapelia does require a Fusion monster, and we no longer possess that. We're going to banish the Nerval, as it is the only monster on the field that has a level. Using Predaponics, we'll bring out the Drosera. Using Predapractice, we'll bring out the Biplisp in our hand. And search for a Sirach. And then just wall up with those. We are able to destroy the Shurag, using it to search. We're going to make a double Dragon Lord, as well as a Shurag once again. The skill that the Tri-Brigade plays, able to recycle it up to twice per duel, and in this case proving quite clutch, as we're going to be able to summon it to the field once again. Goes for the banish. Rugal protecting the chain block, not that it matters here. We are going to get rid of the Chimera Rafflesia, clearing everything but the Biplisp. However, it should be noted that we did have all of our monsters afflicted by a predator counter, so the Hydra can tribute any of them. In this case, we are going to go ahead and tribute off the double Dragon Lords, which is the only activatable form of interruption here. That said, we are protected from any damage by the Nightingale, which is the main defense that the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck is going to use to be able to hang in the current metagame. Recycling Plant is going to get us to our fusion substitute, making a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Now, its attack boost, while formidable, is not particularly scary when you can't take any battle damage. Second copy of Predaplant, Predapruning, and then we will make an Ensemble Robin, which will provide 2 interruptions in the form of bounces. All right, let's see what we can do here. Barrel Canary, bring back the Cobalt Sparrow, searching for a copy of Nerval. We do not elect to bounce either of these, which is going to prove to be a potential undoing as we then go for a Forbidden Droplet, which is going to allow us to negate 2, negating the Hydra, so we cannot do an attack modification change here. Versatile Starling is going to go ahead and pump up the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and what we are likely going to see here is the secondary win condition of the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck, which is, at the end of the day, you got Lyrilusc cards in your deck. You've got Nightingale, you've got Versatile Starling, which means reflect damage and direct attacks are on the table. And in fact, having pumped our opponent's monster up to 3,400 and our own at only 200, well, that's 3,200 damage, which appears to be exactly what you have left. And sure enough, activating the assembled Nightingale so that we do not take any damage, we will commit to exact lethal. And Carrot will win that in a 2-0 clean victory. Very well done. Now, I know that a lot of people aren't necessarily big fans of the Lyrilusc win condition. It can be especially frustrating, especially when it was played pure. Personally, I do find the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc variant to be quite enjoyable, and oftentimes it'll be a very engaging back and forth between both duelists. And it should go without saying that Carrot, as a world's level competitor, played both of those games exceptionally well. Tell me what you think, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.